Welcome to 365 Language Planet. This is Let's Speak English and Nihongo in collaboration with the RSU PAL Center of Ransit University International College in Bangkok, Thailand. Before we start, let's check this month's 365 language galaxies, moons, stars, and planets. Actually, last month's. Sorry. So last month, we had 2 galaxies, Zayar Mint and Aya Miatida. Way to go. And 4 stars, A Hybrid, YO, Nora, and Kan Mama. Nice job. And 3 moons, Charming, Takesh, and KE. Nice job. And 4 planets, K Workshop, Yingmin Fo, Grandma K, and Takanona. Way to go, everyone. If you want to become a 365 planet, all you need to do is... Thank you so much, Nola, for joining tonight's show. To become a 365 language planet, all you need to do is share an idea in the chat. So, let's begin. Hajimemashou. The theme of Let's Speak English and Nihongo, episode 43, is human-wildlife conflict, which in Japanese is Ningen to Yasei Dobutsu no Sho to... Oh, I forgot. Sorry, but yeah, conflict. So, to discuss this topic with us tonight is... See if I can get him. Just a moment. Oh. All right, let's see if I can get PPK. Okay. Good evening, PPK.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us tonight. All right, looking good. Is there a lot of wildlife in your home country?
Yes, there are many. There's so many wildlife such that in other countries there are invasive species that are origin to our country.
I see. All right, well, let's have a great time tonight discussing human-wildlife conflict. So, the first question of tonight's show is, I love wildlife, but I don't want to have any conflict with it. How about you? 日本語で私は野生動物が大好きですが、野生動物とトラブルを起こしたくはありません。あなたはどうですか? So, PPK, what do you think? Do you love wildlife?
Yes, of course. I'm very interested in wildlife, but I think conflict with the wildlife is inevitable because human society is constantly expanding. So it's only natural we encounter wildlife in our areas when we are building spaces in their spaces.
Yes. I agree. Yeah, it is very challenging to avoid conflict with wildlife. All right, well, let's ask the viewers. Do you love wildlife? Please write your answer in the chat or in the comments. チャットまたはコメントに答えを書いてください. All right, we already have a comment. Sunny says, I'm going to start the timer. So you have 4 minutes to write your answer in the chat. Sunny says, my favorite animal is a rabbit. Rabbits, they are so cute. Nice answer. Thank you very much for joining tonight's show. I think PPK, do you have a favorite animal?
I think picking my favorite animal is like picking your favorite child because there are so many animals I like. I like dogs, I like cats. I think I will go for cats because they suit my quiet personality.
That's great. I know in Japan, my favorite wildlife animal is the fox. I've seen foxes a few times, and they always, I think, they have a very cute face. And cute.
Yes, I heard foxes are very much prevalent in Japanese folklore.
Yes. All right. Zaire Mint says, I have conflict with dogs and cats, especially cats. When they came to me, I am not comfortable. I'm so sorry to hear that, Zaire Mint. But thank you very much for joining tonight's show. All right. So the question, so my sentence was, I love wildlife, but I don't want to have any conflict with it. How about you? Do you love wildlife? Please let us know in the chat. I know some people, I love wildlife. I'm walking and I see wild animals. Usually I love it, but I know some people don't.
Well, I think it depends on what kind of wildlife you
Yes.
encounter. Like, if you see a hungry bear, you're probably not gonna love it.
No, not especially if it chases me. Yes, that is very true. All right. Well, do you love wildlife? Please let us know in the chat. I think in Thailand, the monitor lizard is famous. I think it's called the monitor lizard. It's a very large lizard.
I see.
Do you know what I'm talking? I guess have you heard of it?
Yeah. We also see those kinds of lizards here in Thailand.
Yes. They're very large, right? I mean, they can be. Some of them are very large.
Yes, sometimes they would be seen casually walking around in the city. So I would just freak out, but the locals are used to them.
Amazing. Well, Mia says, I love animals. Me too. That's great. Thank you so much for joining tonight's show. All right. Do you love wildlife? Please let us know in the chat or in the comments. Yes. Yeah, there. Okay. Hey, Hybrid says, good evening. There are wild animals that I like and those that I don't like. I don't like bears. Wow. Thanks so much for joining tonight's show. Yeah, there's a lot like PPK was mentioning. It's kind of case by case, right?
Yes. Yeah. You can appreciate the beauty if you observe them from afar.
Wow. Takesh says, I was surprised to see a deer on my way home from work once and stopped the car. Wow. That's great. Thanks so much for joining tonight's show. All right. Well, now you can write a new question in the chat or in the comments. チャットまたはコメントに新しい質問を書いてください. You have 4 minutes. Okay, so we got a lot of interesting ideas in the chat so far. Now, you can ask a question about wildlife, or you can ask a question about anything. Anything is okay. I have a question, PPK. What's the most interesting wildlife you have ever seen?
think this might be unconventional, but it's insects, particularly beetles, because the way they I don't know, the way they live their lives, it just just looks so fascinating to me. And one time I was eating a snack and one beetle just jumped onto the snack before I swallow it. So it tasted weird, so I spit it out. It was a bug, so I freaked out and just dropped the food there.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, it tasted so weird.
Oh, I've never heard of that, but wow, it's an interesting tale. All right, Zayar Mint has a question. He says, "What kind of animal do you love?" Great question.
What kind of animal do I love?
Yes.
Well, I love all kinds of animals if they don't pose immediate danger to me.
Yeah. I would say me too. Me too. Yes. Yes, I agree. So yeah, that's I love everything too. But yes, definitely some animals are better to watch on YouTube than in real life.
Yeah, some animals can be more entertaining to observe than others, like monkeys.
Yes. Oh,
They do their little funny things and people get fascinated by them.
are there lots of monkeys in Myanmar?
Yes,
Yes.
but most species are going extinct,
Oh.
unfortunately, because of some unfortunate events, such as poor wildlife maintenance
I see.
and natural disasters.
Yeah. And possibly climate change might be affecting the amount of food available to wildlife in nature. All right. Well, if you have a question, please share your question in the chat or in the comments. チャットまたはコメントに新しい質問を書いてください。She's asked Zayar Mint, how about you? What kind of animal do you love? Please let us know. Yes. As a child, actually, I loved rabbits too. I would kind of joke that I was kind of a rabbit farmer when I was a child. Very, very small scale.
Yeah, I've seen people have rabbits as pets. I heard they're like difficult to maintain as pets because they are not fond of loud noises, or they will die easily if they get scared and something like that.
Interesting. Mine. I didn't have too much of a problem, but I guess it kind of depends on where you keep them and how much stress they have. Matida says, "How about Safari World in Thailand?" Thank you for joining tonight's show. Have you ever been to Safari World in Thailand?
Yes, I've been there with my family. There are like you can see lots of wildlife in like open air. They're like free to move around without any like cages. So it's really interesting to observe them in their natural habitat.
I see. All right, great. Zayar Min says, I love only my wife. Nice. That's great. That's great. Okay, well, let's move on to the second question of tonight's show, which is going to be a little bit more of a difficult question. Are there any conflicts between humans and wildlife where you live? 日本語であなたの住んでいる地域では人間と野生動物との間で何か衝突はありますか？ PPK, I know Takesh just wrote, I think the recent increase in bear damage in Japanese towns is due to mega solar power plants. How about you? Interesting. Yeah, there's been a lot of conflicts where I live related to bears, but how about where you live? Are there any conflicts between humans and wildlife?
Well, I live in a urban area, so like there aren't much chances to see wildlife except like dogs and cats. And if dogs and cats count, maybe they can be a little noisy at night.
Wow. Okay.
Apart from that, not much.
Not much. I see. Okay, well, let's ask the viewers. Are there any conflicts between humans and wildlife where you live? あなたの住んでいる地域では人間と野生動物との間で何か衝突はありますか? Please write your answer in the chat or in the comments. チャットまたはコメントに答えを書いてください. You have 4 minutes. 4分間あります. All right. So yeah, as Takesh just wrote, there has been a huge increase in conflict with bears these days. Okay, This says only a few, I think. Well, thank you so much for joining tonight's show. Please tell us more, if you can. What kind of conflict have you, between humans and wildlife are there? So yeah, the big one in Japan these days are bears. There's a lot. Have you heard about that?
No, I didn't know that. Are they like trespassing properties?
Yeah, they are. They're, attacking people. Attacking people these days.
That sounds serious.
Yeah, it is very serious. Okay, Zayar Min says, yes, in my country, there's too many dogs. They have no owners, and they are very dangerous for people. Wow, so sorry to hear that, but thank you for sharing. Yin Min Fo, thank you very much for joining tonight's show. Yin Min Fo says, as for me, maybe ants. He said, ants are so much trouble. I see them anywhere in my home. Wow. So sorry to hear that. Yeah, ants are wildlife as well. Wow. I hope they're not the dangerous. There are the kind of dangerous kinds of ants.
But speaking of ants, I also get in trouble with ants because in my room there are like lots of ants. Wow. So if I leave some food alone for like 1 second, there will be some ants wandering around.
That is scary. Scary. So definitely you have a conflict with ants as well.
So I have to put things in the fridge.
Have you, I think on YouTube, I've seen some I don't know if it's ants or other kinds of animals, but you can make some homemade kind of traps to catch, all the ants in your home.
I see.
I think it's it's a mix of syrup and a kind of chemical that will.
Well, my solution is they came out of tiny holes and cracks. I seal them with tape so they can't come out.
Yeah, that sounds like a very humane way to take care of the problem. Yes, nice way. Are there any conflicts between humans and wildlife where you live? Please let us know. Please write your answer in the chat or in the comments. あなたの住んでいる地域では人間と野生動物との間で何か衝突はありますか? In my home, like in America, we have wolves that have been reintroduced into society, and wolves are a little trouble, like they cause trouble for farmers. But on humans, it's very rare to be attacked by a wolf. But yeah, Zayar Mint says, in my country, elephants are fighting humans sometimes. Wow, that's conflict. Oh, hey, Hybrid says, wild animals are often hit by cars at night. Same in America. Takesh says, in my area, there's so many stink bugs in the summer. Yeah, in Japan, we have this I think it's green, right? A green bug. Like if you step on it, it's very stinky. Are there bugs like that in Thailand?
Well, sometimes some flying bug that resembles some kind of bee or hornet would come into my room, and they don't know how to get out, so I have a very difficult time just trying to lead them away out of my room.
Sounds tough. All right. Well, now please write a new question in the chat or in the comments. You have チャットまたはコメントに新しい質問を書いてください. You have 4 minutes, 4分間あります. And you can write questions about anything. Could be about wildlife, could be about learning languages, could be about Myanmar or Thailand, Japan, the US. Any kind of questions are okay. I know, like for me, I have kind of a little bit of a funny conflict with bugs. In Japan, in the fall, there are a lot of very small black flies. And sometimes when I go jogging or ride my bike, it's like a black fly swarm will kind of like hit me in the face, hit my body. And it's very uncomfortable.
Do they like sting or something?
No stings.
Oh, so that's good to hear.
Yes. In America, I would call them like fruit flies. They're kind of very small, like black flies. I think those are the bugs that give me the most stress. All right.
For me,
yes.
Sure. Go.
All right. Well, Zayar Mint says, PK, do you have a conflict with wild animals? What time and where? Next question.
Well, there are like only dogs and cats in my area, so I don't get the chance to see wildlife like bears or tigers. But ants would be the most troublesome animals for me because they steal my food while I'm like sleeping.
Crazy. They must, they sound like very smart ants. And so...
Yeah. So I tried putting my food in the middle of like watered bowl. And at first they don't know what to do because they can't swim. But later I saw some of them swimming, and later many of them are crossing the water by swimming. So
Oh, wow. Amazing. They sound very smart.
yeah, they learn to swim.
Yeah, and I've seen, documentaries where sometimes they even make a raft, like using their bodies. They all kind of join together, and they'll make like a big like group floating, and they'll cross like a swimming pool or some body of water.
Yes, I've heard of it.
So maybe, who knows, maybe someday they might do that for your food. They might try to like make a ant bridge from one side to your food. Oh no.
That sounds like a scary thought.
Yes. All right. Yimin Fo says we sometimes see snakes in our environment. So many kinds of snakes. Wow. Okay. Zayar Mint says, Garrett, do you have conflicts with wild animals? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Not so much, other than the flies. Like the flies sometimes get on me when I'm jogging or riding my bike. But it's not, and maybe I don't go jogging in the evenings or afternoons as much as I used to. So not too bad. All right. Great job. Nice work. Let's move on to the last question of tonight's show, which is, what do you think can be done to reduce human-wildlife conflicts? 日本語で、人間と野生動物との衝突を減らすためにどのようなことができると思いますか? Any idea, PPK?
Well, I think we should acknowledge first about more wildlife appearing in an area, so we can take measures on how to deal with them. Should we inform people, or should we have guards that keep watch over them, things like that. So the first step is more people recognizing them, so we can do something about it.
Yeah, sounds like very, very reasonable. Well, let's ask the viewers, what do you think can be done to reduce human-wildlife conflicts? 人間と野生動物との衝突を減らすためにどのようなことができると思いますか? Please write your answer in the chat or in the comments. チャットまたはコメントに答えを書いてください. You have 4 minutes. 4分間あります. So, I know, like I was saying, in Japan, we have a lot of conflict with bears nowadays. And so I think one thing that can be done individually is not go near the human wildlife conflict zone. And so, I'm not going to mountains nowadays.
Well, it seems the best way to not encounter the problem is just to avoid it.
Yes. Just if there's a lot of conflict, it's kind of best to just keep your distance away from the kind of conflict area, if possible. Okay, Yimin Fo says, taking responsibility and making safe for human beings. Nice idea. All right. What do you think can be done to reduce human-wildlife conflicts? 人間と野生動物との衝突を減らすためにどのようなことができると思いますか? please write your answer in the chat or in the comments. チャットまたはコメントに答えを書いてください。Zaya Mint says, yes, I think to reduce conflict with others is to pay love and mutual respect. Maybe kindness for weak people or animals. Very nice. Yeah, it is very challenging because, if you live I think both of us, I live in a sort of city area, and I think you live in a very urban area that's kind of far away. So it's kind of, if you don't go to the countryside, you can avoid a lot of conflict. Right.
It would also be fortunate to have people who have experience in dealing with wildlife. I've seen people on YouTube come to take wildlife like snake and release it somewhere else.
Yeah, me too. I've seen that. Ayamitira says, we take or make a boundary line between humans and wildlife. Sounds like a good idea. I think in a lot of countries, they've made kind of nature preserves, I think is the word for it. Preserves or sanctuaries for wild animals to live. And is that the case in Myanmar and Thailand?
Well, I'm sure things like wildlife sanctuary are more common in Thailand because, like I mentioned earlier, there's such things such as safari world, and in Myanmar there are also some wildlife sanctuary forests as well, and we are doing our best to maintain these forests because poachers are very common, illegal poachers.
Yes. So yeah, I think maybe making more well maintained and managed nature preserves or sanctuaries is probably a great idea. And maybe even in the sanctuary, kind of create the kind of barrier, the kind of natural barrier to prevent the wild animals from leaving and going to the kind of human human sanctuary from wild animals. Okay. Takesh says, I think that minimizing mountain development is key to avoiding conflicts between humans and wildlife. Right. Yes, I think so too. Okay, great job. Nice ideas. Okay, well, let's move on to the last section of tonight's show. Please write a new question in the chat or in the comments. チャットまたはコメントに新しい質問を書いてください。You have 4 minutes. 4分間あります。Yeah, it's kind of I think making parks, not really parks per se, but just making the kind of protected areas for wildlife. It's probably very and then having like those protected areas will have like natural barriers to kind of keep the humans and wildlife separate. It's probably one of the best things to do. But I know I did a little research about Myanmar, and it seems like there are elephants and tigers even. And maybe even rhinos?
Yes,
yeah.
There are many of them.
Yeah. So those sound like they could be. If you came across that in nature, could be very dangerous.
Yeah.
Those,
If you don't know how to deal with them. Yeah.
yes. All right. Zayarmin says, PK, how about you? Do you have any method to reduce some conflict problems between people and wild animals?
Well, people can be educated more about the wildlife that appear in their area, so we can do something about it. We can avoid them. We can learn how to live with them, or we can catch them and release them somewhere else.
I see. Mitita says, what do you think about hunting, Garrett? So, great question. And where I'm from, growing up, we had deer, but not many natural predators. Like there's no wolves. And so hunting was very important for maintaining a kind of healthy population of deer. But so I think hunting can be very good for maintaining the healthy population. But how about you, PPK? Oh my gosh, what do you think?
Well, I also think hunting is necessary for certain populations to survive, like people in Africa, but too much hunting can also deplete natural resources. Like overfishing can be a problem. Fish go extinct, etc.
Yes, poaching too. It's kind of poaching. I think is a good example of like hunting used wrongly.
Yes.
All right. Zayarmin says, thanks, PK. If you're just joining tonight's show, please feel free to ask PPK or me a question in the chat or in the comments. Tonight's topic was human-wildlife conflicts. All right. Well, if you're still typing, please continue, and you are welcome to share a question or comment in the chat or in the comments anytime. But for tonight, that's the end of our show. So thank you so much for joining PPK and me. The Let's Speak English and Nihongo podcast is every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Japan Standard Time. So if you haven't already, please subscribe and give the show a big thumbs up. Anything you'd like to say, PPK?
Good evening. Good night, everyone. It was nice to talk about wildlife conflict with you guys.
Yeah, yes, I agree. Why? Oh, thank you very much for joining us tonight, and thank everyone for joining us and sharing your ideas in the chat and in the comments. And I think we look forward to chatting with you again next week. So, sorry. I guess the last scene has disappeared. So, hope everyone has a great night, and we'll see you next time. Bye.